Hi everyone! We're going to be taking another look at our book, Larry Gets Lost in Philadelphia. Last time we checked out the story, and now we're going to be taking a closer look at those landmarks that Larry found. And maybe you'll recognize some, and I bet you'll learn something new too. I know I did when I took another look. So up first, we have Penn's Landing. This is the waterfront area where William Penn, founder of the state of Pennsylvania, docked in 1682. Next up, we see Benjamin Franklin Bridge. At 1,750 feet from tower to tower, this was the longest suspension bridge when it was completed in 1926. It connects Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Camden, New Jersey. Here we see Citizens Bank Park. This is the home of Major League Baseball's Philadelphia Phillies, the American sports team that boasts the longest continuous time with the same name and in the same city, since 1883. Okay, but just looking at these pictures makes me hungry. Here we see Pat's King of Steaks and Geno's Steaks. Pat's King of Steaks opened in 1930, and Geno's Steaks opened in 1966. They stand across from each other, and Pat's is credited with inventing the city's signature sandwich, the Philly cheesesteak. Here we see L. Freth's Alley. People have lived here continuously since 1702, making this one of the oldest residential streets in the whole United States. Here's a picture of Betsy Ross' house. Built around 1740, this is believed to be the house where Betsy Ross lived. She is often credited with sewing the first American flag, but it may not be true. Next we see Larry at Christ Church Burial Ground. Nearly 300 years old, this cemetery is the final resting place of Benjamin Franklin and 4 other signers of the Declaration of Independence. Here's Larry again at Franklin Court. 2 ghost structures mark the site where Ben Franklin's house once stood on Market Street. Franklin was one of the founding fathers of the United States, a leading author, printer, politician, postmaster, scientist, musician, and inventor. Franklin is sometimes called the first American because of his influence on the formation of the country. Here we see a little bit of the Liberty Bell. Forged in 1752, the bell hung in the steeple of the Pennsylvania State House, later called Independence Hall, and became an iconic symbol of American independence. It reads, "Proclaim liberty throughout all the land until all the inhabitants thereof." It originally cracked soon after its arrival from London. And here's Independence Hall, where the Liberty Bell used to be. This is where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States were signed. Here we can see Larry looking at City Hall. At 548 feet, this was one of the tallest skyscrapers in the world when it was completed in 1901. It's still the largest municipal building in the country. It's even bigger than the United States Capitol. Until 1987, no building in the city could be higher than the brim of William Penn's hat. Here we can see Larry's family in Rittenhouse Square. One of the 5 town squares originally planned for Philadelphia by William Penn in the 1600s, the neighborhood has become one of the most famous and desirable addresses in the city. This right here is actually an art installation called Your Move. It was created by Daniel Martinez, Rene Petropules, and Roger White in 1996. And this big guy is Clothespin. Clothespin was created by Claes Oldenburg in 1976. This picture shows Larry's family at the Barnes Foundation. Albert C. Barnes was a successful physician and chemist whose private art collection is one of the most valuable in the world. He arranged his paintings in groups with furniture and other objects. And here we see Larry again at JFK Plaza. This plaza is known as Love Park because of the famous love sculpture by Robert Indiana placed there in 1976. This is a picture of Swan Memorial Fountain. Also known as the Fountain of the Three Rivers, the sculpted figures represent the area's three major waterways, the Delaware, the Schuylkill, and the Wissahickon. It's the Rocky Balboa sculpture. This statue depicts actor Sylvester Stallone as the boxer who famously ran up the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum in the film Rocky. The statue was made for a scene in Rocky III. And here is that very museum. Completed in 1928, Philadelphia Museum of Art is one of the largest museums in the United States, welcoming nearly 1 million visitors every year. All aboard the Market Frankford line. This train line is also known as the Blue Line or the L, short for elevated train. They finally found Larry at the Philadelphia Zoo. Opened in 1874, this is the first zoo in the United States. And last but not least, one of my all-time favorites, Boathouse Row. Rowing clubs use these boathouses on the eastern bank of the Schuylkill River. The houses light up every night.